And how is it going? Welcome back to Toyota Maintenance YouTube channel. Somebody please explain me why these 1997 Toyota 4Runners are so cool looking. And how come they are holding their value, they are holding their condition so good after 271,000 miles. You heard it right, this one has 271,000 miles on the odometer and nothing is broken, it just came for a maintenance. This one is relatively new to me. If I remember, as a maintenance, I'm doing oil changes. O2 sensor was bad. That is in the paperwork. I saw that, and the only expensive item was unfortunately brake booster. But I want to show you how these vehicles hold up after such a long time. It's super old, super high miles. It's a limited version. We can see it here. So there is this kind of leather interior, 271,000 miles, and basically there are only two flaws on this seat. It's absolutely unreal. This is not ripped off, unreal. Look at the dashboard. This is a leather steering wheel. There is wear on it, but nowhere I see the leather completely missing or ripped or, gone. This is absolutely unbelievable. Hopefully you see that mileage yourself. 271,036. Look at that. Forks wood trim. Absolutely like brand new. It's shiny. The clear coat on it is shiny. There's nothing wrong with it. Do you think the shifter is falling apart and missing chunk of it? Oh, absolutely not. Look at that headliner. Do you see a saggy headliner like in different brands? I just drove 2010 TDI Jetta because I was always interested in these diesels. Of course the headliner was gone. Of course half of the 6-speed shifter was gone. The radio already crapped out. It was replaced with some junk. The seats, guys, the seats were that vinyl, right? They call it Fox leather. It had 210,000 miles. The seats were holes through them, right? Everything absolutely gone. So we as a Toyota people, we got used to it. We got used to it, that everything is fantastic. 271 and the steering wheel, the leather looks this way, unreal. Just consider this if you look on different brand. BMW, Audi, Volkswagen. These buttons, all this will be peeling off. The cars which are only like 5, 6, 7, 8 years old, and then you are dealing with all that stuff what you are touching on the radio, so the buttons will just peel off. I was recently shopping for some fun, cheap commuter, A to B, and that's why I saw all these details, like, oh my god, if you buy these brands, you start dealing with a small stuff like that, and then obviously you are not going to replace the whole radio just because the surface of the buttons, it's gone. You cannot even see what that button means. Or all of these will be just peeling off. Or on Volkswagen, right, they put that rubberized material on these panels and it all peels off and it looks really ugly. So this is, to me, a reason actually to compare it. Because of my search, I saw a bunch of cars which were half age and 3 times less miles, and they looked really, really bad. There was no way to compare it with this. So here we can have a tour and see how in good shape it's underneath. Look, even in the tailpipe, there's zero funky business. It's not burning oil. That shows you immediately this engine is running fine. Right, unless there will be a hole in the exhaust coming here, but it's not. When I pull it in the garage, the vehicle is absolutely quiet, so we know just if you are shopping for the car without the scanners and crawling under, if you want to see if the engine sounds good, this is the indicator for everybody. Because if it was burning oil, it will be black. It will be really black. You could swipe it off with your fingers. So, spare. Look at that axle, real axle with the plugs. You guys always say, oh my god, check the breather. Check the breather. Do you see it there? I hope you do. Totally free. Very tiny little bit of dust on it. Look at the drums. Everything is in fantastic shape. What I didn't know, that somebody, they might have done it themselves. They put a slight lift kit. I believe that's a lift kit. I see a new shocks and coil springs. So both of them are new. It's a 0920. It might be Old Man Emu, because the logo I see there. Will you agree? That could be, correct? Here is the other drum. Everything looks pretty good if you consider the mileage and the age. So here is that lockable rear diff, which was available on this model in 1997. Here you can see these Bilsteins. It's assembled USA. They look pretty new. So it was done recently. I was not part of it. Last time I did for them expensive job. We will discuss that in the engine bay. Other than that, I do all changes for them. There was one oxygen sensor I believe I also replaced, but not this upgrade. So incredible, don't you say so? Even that shield is not rusted away. Here is that cross member. Look at the transfer case. Can you believe? If you see how non-leaking condition it has, will you ever say this is 270,000 miles? These counterbalance weights, there normally will be, this rubber will be separated and it will be rattling here. Even this is still good. I don't know why. Unbelievable. And they take care of the vehicle. Look, this is Toyota fuel filter. I used the finger and I just swept that sticker. So again, I'm assuming it was the husband who does partially the work on this vehicle, and he's taking good care of it. So incredible, will you not say? Now look, very slight, we start seeing, we know the 5EZ FEs are leaking. We know that, so there is a very low oil. We know the valve covers are leaking, especially on one side, and I will bring the light and I will show you that. But look, the CV axle, also the entire steering, CV axle on the other side, everything is super nice. We are used to it. Toyota people, we are used to it. Why am I filming this? Well, it's easy to get used to it and not realize that this is not normal on the other brands. If I walk to my landlords, which is behind this wall, they service anything. As the owner said, pretty interestingly, when I talked to him, he said, for the money, I will service almost anything. I will take almost anything in my shop. So if you go there and start looking and wandering around and you see these different makers, the different vehicles, different makes, this is not standard. This is Toyota standard, but it's not on all the vehicles we see on the roads. And that's why I'm filming this. This is absolutely showing that super high standard which Toyota was making in those years. This is 1997. Especially that year 1997 seems to be unbreakable, indestructible. We have that friend with another white limited 4Runner. I filmed so much on his, it ended up in ditch once. It bent a little bit the frame on the other one, right? These frame rails are slightly pushed sideways. This was all pushed in. All we did, I just used the sliding hammer which I had here sitting. We pulled it a little bit up. That vehicle perfectly drives. There's nothing wrong with it. It's also lifted 3 inches. It survived its own death. I think there is something special about 1997 4Runners. Definitely. I brought a light and I want to show you how these valve covers, typical on 5Easy, how they leak and how it's important to deal with them. Do you see how much oil is there? I got you a little bit closer. Do you see that huge leak? And that's all just that valve cover gasket. Is that, will you say this is a weak Achilles heel for this engine? Well, I don't think so. Many other engines, it doesn't matter which brand, it can be 4 cylinders, it can be 6 cylinders, V6s. The valve cover gasket, which goes out at 100,000 miles, I will always consider as a normal maintenance. I will never think it's a flaw or the fail of that product. I have recently purchased this A to B transportation, the cheap gas efficient transportation. It's a 09 Jetta. You can see videos about the maintenance repair on my another channel which is called Auto Resource. And yes, all of us clearly know this vehicle most likely will never reach 271,000 miles. It will be scrapped way before that. And why did I buy a Volkswagen Jetta? Well, there are many reasons for that, but one of them is for sure you cannot buy a vehicle like that, the wagon, very practical wagon from Toyota on the used market. The space in the back in this wagon is ginormous, it's super practical. It has these long rails for roof racks to go surfing and so on and so on. Also, used Volkswagens are very reasonably priced. This one was only $3,000 with only 124,000 miles on the odometer. Also, it gives me opportunity to grow my content on Auto Resource YouTube channel. Bottom line, what I wanted to bring up. I looked at Mercedes-Benz, which were 10 years younger than that 4Runner, BMWs, Volkswagen and Audis. These were the cars which were reasonably priced in our area. This market is very limited. There is not much for sale here. We will have to drive down to San Francisco or Sacramento area to shop for the cars. So looking for a cheap car was surprisingly almost impossible. And all the cars, the other brands, the cars which were 10 years younger than that 4Runner, with half of the miles, the condition of interior, exterior, the engine and so on was way worse than that 4Runner we just looked at. So that was my reason to show it to you, how it's holding up, how beautifully it's looking after so many years and so many miles. The person is completely enjoying driving it, It has that timeless design, gorgeous design. In my opinion, that vehicle really looks beautiful. So I want to bring it up and bring the discussion to the table. So if you have your comments, please share them below the video. If you like the video, give it thumb up and stay tuned. I will have some content coming over very soon. See you later, my friend.